Everybody, it's Chris Eads, known online as Wootini, here with another Gay Gamer video podcast for you. This week I did not go to the movies, seeing as how it was Thanksgiving and my husband's birthday, so movies next week. But that's good, because I have a lot else to talk about. First of all, I just want to get out of the way that obviously I play Animal Crossing every day, but this week, going home for Thanksgiving, I was visiting my family, including my nieces, who also play Animal Crossing now, that I got it for them for Christmas. And so on the bus traveling upstate, I was like playing Animal Crossing just to do my daily rounds. And normally I don't bother with the Turkey Day stuff because I already have all the harvest furniture, so whatever, that was years ago I got it, it's fine. But this year I actually did the basic cooking with Franklin to make the Thanksgiving feast so that I could get the harvest stuff so that I could give it to my nieces, because I didn't know if they were going to do it, and if they did it, I think they both share an island, so I think only one of them would get stuff and the other one would be stuck and they wouldn't get anything. So I'm like, here is some furniture, plus some bells and some fossils and some recipes I collected over the past week or so, and gave them gifts. But I was very upset to see their island is like overrun with weeds. And they're like, oh, well, we don't really play it that much anymore. We haven't played it in a while. You know, you're happy to go ahead and pick weeds if you want. And I was just like, I'm not doing your job for you. Yeah. But it was sad to think that, I mean, I know that not everybody is like me and completely obsessed with Animal Crossing and playing it every day because it's a stress reliever and it's my escape from reality. But it's sad to see that they aren't as into it as they were before. So now I'm second guessing myself getting them Animal Crossing gifts for Christmas. I don't know. I also, over the past week, made some good progress with Disney Dreamlight Valley. Now that I have my new Xbox to play with, there was one day where I was like, no, I don't have time for Disney. It's fine. But I do like to play Disney for at least, a little bit each day, just to check the store to see if there's anything new and to get my daily moonstones. But now that I have the DLC and all, I've still been working on stuff there. And I ended up doing just a little bit of a quest, and then that ended up doing a whole big quest. And then I was like, oh, okay, now I can go into the cave and we can do this, the ruin or whatever, and look for the Spark of Imagination. And I got all the way to the Spark of Imagination. And that felt like maybe the end of the second DLC. Because the Eternity Isle DLC was in 3 parts. So I think maybe I'm now in the 3rd part, but I'm not sure because I didn't play it when it first came out. I'm playing it now, so all 3 parts are there. So I don't know if maybe this whole thing with the Spark of Imagination being stolen by Jafar was the beginning of the second DLC. Mayhap that was the end of the second DLC. I don't know. All I know is that after losing the Spark of Imagination, now I have to get it back, but I have now encountered Oswald, who is my new favorite. He is hilarious. It starts off, he can't speak, and because it's a silent movie thing, and it's all very cute and very clever. But now he can speak, so it's less enjoyable, but he's still adorable. He's all cel-shaded in black and white. It's very cute. But yeah, so I'm very much enjoying him. So I have played that in varying lengths, as well as playing Rock Band and Starfield on my new Xbox. But to switch to my new Xbox, now that I've been playing with it for a week, I have to say I am enjoying it. I love how small it is. It's so tiny. It's like this big. It's great. All right, not that big, but you know what I mean. It's not a huge, ginormous, it's not as small as the Switch, obviously, but it's not a huge, big, giant thing like the PlayStation 5. But I love the quick resume. It's fantastic. All week, I've been switching between Rock Band and Starfield. And there's a slight loading time as it switches over to the other game. But I've been going back and forth, and no problems, knock wood. As opposed to the share button, which is garbage. I guess I've just been spoiled by Sony and Nintendo putting a share button on their systems, and you just press it and it takes a picture, and it never doesn't work. You press the button, it takes a picture. You hold it, it takes a video. It's, and it works every single time. But on the Xbox, somehow it's broken. I've already had to restart my Xbox Series S like 4 or 5 times. All right, maybe 3 or 4. But still, I've had to restart it a bunch of times. At least now I know that I don't have to do the hard reset. I just need to do a quick restart, which is fine. And then I can jump back into my game. Because I'm trying to take a picture of something and it won't let me because either the button doesn't work at all, or I press the button and it takes a video. And I'm like, no, I'm not holding it. I'm just pressing it. Just take a picture. And that means I have to reset the console again because it's broken somehow. It just got glitched up. And it's really frustrating because the other systems, PlayStation 5 and the Switch, you just press it and it takes a picture. Easy peasy. You could take pictures of menus. But on the Xbox, you can't take pictures of menus and screens within the Xbox because it's like, no, you have to start a game to take a picture. And I'm like, why? Everyone else lets you take pictures of whatever's on your screen at the time. Thanks, Microsoft, for making this difficult. At least now everybody is difficult to share. Everyone has the same levels of sharing screen captures because you have to download it to your phone. It used to be that some of them you could post to Twitter and Facebook like from the console, but now they've all shut that down. And now they're like, no, you download it to your phone or your computer and you just upload it to wherever you want. So that's super frustrating. But I will say that the Xbox Series S is running very well. I think I might have noticed a slight bit of slowdown in Starfield when I was like walking around New Atlantis, where there's like all these people and all this stuff, and it's like a big, huge, thriving city. So there's a lot going on. So, okay. But overall, it runs fine and smooth and loads relatively quickly, and the graphics look good, and everything is fine, and I'm not upset that I cheaped out and got the S instead of spending twice as much to get an X. The only time I did have any kind of real difficulty was when I first got it, and I was downloading all the Rock Band songs. I thought, well, I can just play the Rock Band songs while it's downloading Starfield, and then I can play Starfield, because that's what I do on my PlayStation. When it's downloading something, I'm like, well, I'll just play this instead, and then when it's finished, I'll play that. Unfortunately, I tried to play Rock Band while it was downloading Starfield, and instead of the game slowing down the download slowed down the game. And I tried to play a song, and it was like, and I was like, well, that's not going to work. So I just shut it down and let it download overnight. But that was the only time I experienced any kind of like technical limitations with the S that I probably wouldn't have experienced with the X. Overall, it's been fine. Because otherwise Rock Band plays beautifully. I have only been playing my guitar so far. Haven't done any. I've been wanting to do drums, but it's very loud and annoying, and I don't want to bother my husband. It's a small apartment. But so far Rock Band has been great. I loved that I downloaded it from the store, and I didn't even have to download my save. Somehow it just had my save from the cloud. So like my band was there, Chimps Ahoy was there, and everybody's there, and it's great, and it's fabulous. And I'm like, okay. And like all of my downloadable content is there, like all 500 and change songs from all 4 Rock Band games and the DLC I bought, like everything is there. Except, as I'm playing, I did check in the campaign and it looks like my campaign is all saved. I didn't actually dig in completely, but like I've got lots of money and fans, so I'm like, okay, I think it saved that. But as I'm going through the song list to play some songs, there are songs where I'm like, why does this not have a score? So I think somewhere in there it wasn't like the most recent cloud save, it was like a previous cloud save or something. Because there are songs that I know I have played on guitar that don't have a score. But that's nice. I'm not too bothered by that. That's a minor issue. Because I don't play it for high score, I just play it for fun. So it doesn't really bother me. As I just want the songs there to play. That's all I care about. And then as for Starfield, I am still enjoying getting into it, even though technically I checked and I've been playing for 10 and a half hours, and I feel like I've just barely scratched the surface. The problem with Starfield is I had thought this is going to be like No Man's Sky crossed with Skyrim. Well, Fallout, because it's sci-fi, so let's say Fallout. But it's kind of not. Because so far, I've only been to like a few planets, one of which was Mars, so that looks like Mars, obviously. Everything I've been on there, I've been on 2 planets that are just like gray, rocky terrain and very ugly, and one that was like icy with like pine trees and stuff. It looked like winter, on Earth. So they haven't been like super alien worlds yet. I'm assuming they're building to that. Although you'd think that they would want to like throw you into at least one super alien world in the very beginning missions, because you want to be like, ooh, wow, I can't wait to see more like that. Like so far it's been really boring and there's been nothing. I mean, people complained about the planets on No Man's Sky, but they're at least like super visually interesting and colorful, and there's some really cool shit out there. But I also had a really rough start at the very beginning of the game, because as I mentioned in the last episode, I had just started the game when I recorded my last episode. I had only just started and I'd gone through the character creation and a little bit, and then it was like, okay, get in this spaceship. We're giving you this spaceship, get in it and fly off to this other planet. And I'm like, okay. And the spaceship controls are super complicated. I do not like them. They're not intuitive at all. Even now, a week later, I still struggle with like setting my destination, and then I get to the planet. I can get to the planet okay now. It's finding the correct sequence of buttons to get through the menus to find my, to get the planet so I can pick a landing spot. Because that's also super tricky. Because the first mission, you're supposed to take your spaceship and you go to this planet and you have to deal with the pirate captain, because otherwise the pirates are going to keep coming after you. So you have to take care of him in one way or another. So I go to this planet and I'm wandering around and I'm finding all these things and I'm scanning the flora and fauna and killing some of the fauna because some of the animals attack me. I found a little like colony with like a little settlement with a couple of buildings and some people there, and this kid asked me to set some kind of gas meter thing, and I'm like, sure, I'll do that. That's probably a super easy little errand, except I couldn't figure out what I was supposed to do, and the game didn't tell me. So I was like, never mind, I'll go back to the main quest of finding the pirate captain. And there's a blue dot on the screen, and when you turn on your scanner, it actually shows you little animated little arrows of like, walk this way to get to your quest. And I'm like, okay, except the arrows kept leading me back to my ship. And I had wandered all over the place for like 2 hours. And I looked up online how to do it. I was like, give me a freaking walkthrough. Why can't I find this place? And they're like, it's just southwest of the landing field. And I'm like, it is totally not. So I finally decided I'm just going to follow the arrows back to my ship, and I'm going to take off and then see if I can figure out what's wrong. And it turns out that what happened was, when you go to land on the ship, on the planet, there's a little marker for where you land, and there's a little blue dot next to it that says, what the quest is. And I think what I did was I clicked on the blue dot next to it, so I landed on a random patch of this planet where there's random shit to explore, but not what I needed. And because each map is just it's just a little square map of a section of a planet, you can't go off that map you couldn't go off the map and continue southwest and then get to where, it's not like No Man's Sky where you can literally walk around an entire planet. Here, you could just walk around the map and then you have to get back in your ship and land somewhere else to get another map. And then, because once I landed where it said to land by the research facility, I said, okay, I landed and I got out of my ship and you could see the research facility right down there. And I was just like, ugh. And then I knew I was right back into the proper beginning of the game because there was a path that led you down there. It wasn't random. There was a path that led you to the building, and as you go by, there was an alien, and the robot's like, hey, you should probably scan the aliens and the planet and stuff on the planet, like the aliens and the plants and whatever. But be careful, they might attack. And, you know, I was just like, yeah, I took care of that during the last 2 hours when I was wandering around aimlessly with nothing else to do except scan the planet. But then it became proper Bethesda game. I go inside, I've got my weapon out. There's like a bajillion things that are not nailed down that you can like pick up, but you have to be careful because you can only carry so much, which is always my problem with Bethesda games, because I'm like, I want this, I want that, I want this might be useful, that might be useful. So it's like, and I'm picking up all these weapons, and I'm like, no, put them down. They're not that good. And then it became a game, and then it's like you're shooting guys, and you're getting there, and thankfully I was able to talk my way out of the fight with the pirate captain. That was helpful. I would have gotten into the fight. It's fine. I would have killed everybody, but I like, let me just try to talk my way out of it. So I've been playing it, and I've been playing just this, like the story missions so far. There have been some side quests here and there, like as you walk around New Atlantis, you overhear things, and that like sparks a new quest line, like a mini quest or an errand or an activity or whatever you want to call it. I wandered by some guy with a tree, and he's like, hey, can you help me get these sensors? And I'm like, okay, sure. But I've been trying to stick to the story quests because I want to make sure that like I get into the story and I figure out like what's going on and level up some before I start to like wander off aimlessly, because I don't know what I'm going to encounter. Because on one of the planets, the frozen planet, which was part of one of the main story quests that I was doing, like I was doing the quest, and the enemies, I think it said they were like level 8 or whatever, and I'm like, oh no, that's too high, I shouldn't do this. And I'm like, but I have to. And I'm like, oh, am I not ready for this? And then I remembered, you're level 6, you're fine, like don't worry about it. And you have help. I had a helper person who was there to help shoot bad guys and stuff, so I'm like, it's fine. But then when I left there, having completed my mission in the caves, in the mining caves, I decided to like wander around this planet and see what's what. So I'm like wandering around the planet to see what's what, and there was this alien spider thing crawling along in the distance, and it was level like 15, and I was like, okay, that is like twice my level. I don't think I want to be on this planet. I went in a different direction and explored some other things, and then I left because I'm like, maybe I can come back, you know? But so far I am enjoying it. Obviously I've spent 10.5 hours with it, and it is fun. There is a lot going on. There are a lot of menus and systems and everything. Like the spaceship is really complicated, and apparently you can like start colonies or whatever. You can like build farms on various alien planets to like get more resources easily and quickly, and you can like link them, and it's like, I'm like, oh my god. So that you can make this super complicated if you want. So in that way, it is kind of like No Man's Sky. You can play it simply, or you can like really dive in and explore all the different aspects of the things you can do in this game, because it is very open-ended. I will say, as much as I'm enjoying it, I'm finding it less immersive than other Bethesda games like Skyrim or the Fallout. Because in those games, they put you in this world, and while there is fast travel, you fast travel to a location, you go to this castle or this building or whatever, like you're there, and then you can see all around you, and you're like, I'm gonna see what that mountain is, or what's that thing over there, or what's that smoke, let me go investigate that off in the distance. And it's much more immersive because you feel like you're in this world, as opposed to Starfield, where you're like wandering around New Atlantis. Okay, that's nice, it's a big city, and I can get lost very easily, but like I said, you land on a planet and it's just a little section of a map, and then you have to go back in your ship and then land on another planet with another section of a map. So because you keep going back to your ship and navigating between planets and systems and whatever, it sort of takes you out of it, you know, and it doesn't feel like a big open expansive world because it's all these little planets and maps and things. But that's just me. Obviously I'm still enjoying it, and I'm still hopelessly addicted, and I play it all the time. which is a problem because, you know, I still make time for Animal Crossing every day and maybe a little Disney Dreamlight Valley, but I still haven't finished the quarry. I still have like another couple hours in that, and things were getting crazy, and then the real world got crazy, and I didn't want to deal with that kind of anxiety in a fake world. I wanted a nice escape. But now I'm fine, and I'm thinking that I should probably go back and finish the quarry before I really get too sucked into Starfield. We'll see. So come back next episode and see if I have done that or if I have just kept playing Starfield and Rock Band, because that's just the way I am. And I don't follow through on these promises that I make you every episode. So, see you then. Bye!